Thank you for watching this demonstration of SaltMiner Community. I'm Dennis Hurst, President of Saltworks Security. Saltworks is an application security consulting company. We partner with organizations to build world-class application security programs from policy to production. What this really means is helping companies integrate security with development so that we know that applications can go live, that they're developed correctly, they're tested correctly, and when we run them, they're going to be reasonably secure. One of the challenges that we ran into as we were helping people build AppSec programs was how do you manage all the data that you generate? So you've got lots and lots of different scanners. They come from different vendors. They mean different things. So you've got static scans, dynamic scans, open source scans, all these different kinds of scans. And you need to be able to manage those in a single place. So you need to be able to report on those to the business, to users, to developers, to executives, whoever needs to see that data. And frequently, you need to put business context around that. So, for example, I may want to know what are all the vulnerabilities from applications that have GDPR implications, and how am I dealing with those? So I want to be able to search really quick and ask those kinds of questions. So it's not just a matter of saying, what critical vulnerabilities do I have? It's what critical vulnerabilities from particular business units or particular things. So that's kind of the problem that SaltMiner solves, is that ability to answer questions about an AppSec program from both a technical perspective with all the results from different scanning tools, as well as from a business perspective that probably comes out of an application inventory somewhere. So it's merging those two things together. All that worked great. The big challenge we ran into, though, was what do you do about penetration testing data? If you're watching this video, you've probably done pen test. You know, the way that those get delivered usually is a spreadsheet, a PDF, a Word document. And we've kind of done that for a long, long time. So we wanted to help our customers that were using SaltMiner to give them a better way to manage that pen test data. So we came up with SaltMiner's pen testing module. Really, this is a fully enterprise scaled pen testing management platform that's built into SaltMiner. So it uses the same data structures, same data storing. It really just gives you the ability to manage pen test. So I can come in, create what we call engagements. Some people call things pen tests. Some will call them assessments. So we just came up with this generic term of an engagement. So I can create a new engagement. It's again my pen test. I can tell it what kind it is. Then I can jump in and start editing vulnerabilities. So if you notice, these pen tests have one of two states. They're either published or in draft. Published simply means you've done the pen test. Everybody agrees on it. You publish it. It then shows up back in the original SaltMiner interface. All of your users can see this. And we have customers that have literally thousands of users of those dashboards. So when it's in draft, though, only the pen test team sees it. So it's kind of your work in progress. So while it's in draft mode, you can go in, you can see any vulnerabilities that have been added. You can add new vulnerabilities. You can do that manually, or you can create templates. So for example, if I found a new SQL injection vulnerability, I can search. And if I've set up my templates to have this, I can go in and say, well, we've got a new SQL injection vulnerability, and it's going to copy everything from that template into this vulnerability. The name, it did assign it to whatever asset we're scanning. So that asset in our world just means what's the thing you're testing. It's the web server, it's the network port, whatever it is. It's that thing that's actually getting tested. We can give it a description. We can then go in and put out where it's at, its severity. We can also keep track of things like, has it been tested or not? That's particularly useful if you want to use this as a workflow engine. So you want to keep track of, maybe you've got hundreds of tests you'd like to execute, and we can say which ones are found, which ones aren't found, and use it as a workflow processor. We also manage suppressions. So if you do a pen test, find a result, somebody comes back and they fixed it, you can go in and suppress it. So now it's a first-class vulnerability, meaning you know when it was found, you know when it was fixed, and you could look at things like mean time to resolution, all those kinds of fun things. We'll also keep track of the date that you tell us it's removed, what vendor, what product was used to scan it. By default, it's Saltworks. You can change that. Also, if you import something from like a burp, something like that, it's going to tell you that you found that through burp. So we'll keep track of what tool was used. We also let you create custom attributes. So we realize that there are things you're going to want to track that we didn't think of. That's great. So we give you the ability to create custom attributes at the engagement level, at the asset level, and then at the vulnerability level. So you could come in, tell us what you want to store. We support Markdown so that you can do screenshots, things like that. Again, all of your attributes are completely customizable. We've got drop downs, all the normal things you'd expect. And then we get into the standard fields you would see on most pen tests. Things like, what are the details? What are the proof? Maybe you'll have a screenshot. Details about what the vulnerability is. And kind of what you would expect from a Markdown editor. You can edit this in Markdown, or you can go into a WYSIWYG view and see it. So, and you can fill that out. We support fully adding comments, so you can keep track of comments over time. We also have this little concept called testing steps. So again, if you're using this as a workflow engine and you want to give notes on how you execute certain tests, we can create a template scan, which is something like a starting place for that. And then we can put testing steps in here. And if we were using this as a workflow engine, it's very simply going to let me click a button, and that's going to open up my testing steps in a new window. It's particularly handy if there's things you always test for, there's methodologies you always want to use. You want to make sure people kind of do things in a consistent way. Those testing steps turn out to be really handy. So once we've entered the vulnerability, now we can go up and save the issue, and it's going to show up back in our main interface. Once we're through with this pen test, we can do all the things you'd expect with it. We can publish it, which again means we publish it. It's going to show up in SaltMiner, in the standard version of SaltMiner. All your users will see it. Again, could be tens, hundreds, thousands of users, whatever you want. Obviously, we can control kind of document level security so that the only people that see what they're supposed to see are people you authorize. We can also generate reports. We've got a templating engine, so you can come up with your own templates. If you need to do PDF, good old school PDF reports, you can do that. So we can generate those. We can also export the results out. The use case for this is if you need to have somebody else work on a pen test, or if you are a pen tester doing a work for a company, you can execute your pen test. When you're done, you can export it. When you export it, everything you've done is going to go. So all the vulnerabilities, all the custom attributes, all the images you've pasted in, everything. We're trying to help people get away from spreadsheets. So the full richness of everything you've done is exported out. They can then import it in. You can even go to the extent, if we go back here, I could export a pen test out, or I could take one that's been done in the past. I could check it out, which is our version of a retest. So I check it out. That's going to create a new test that's now active. It's in a draft mode. The original one's still going to show up in SaltMiner, but in the pen testing interface, what we're going to see is that a new one's been created. I could export out that file, email it off to a pen tester, let them do the retest work. They send it back to me. I import it back in. It's going to update my pen test. So if there's anything that was removed, we'll know that. If there was anything that was added, it's going to be there. Any work they've done, we've got a full workflow, and we'll know who did it. Now we can take that and publish it. So we've got a complete workflow of doing retest. And I could send that to different pen testers over time if I wanted to. So again, the goal of helping pen testers work with their customers. And our customers are the ones that we kind of started working with where they need this data in their systems. So that's a quick overview of SaltMiner Community. Just as a summary of SaltMiner Community, I wanted to mention kind of why we did it and really what it is. Why we did it, first off, pen test data is a pain. It's always been a pain. Seems like our industry likes to send, again, spreadsheets, PDFs, Word documents, and we really wanted to try to make that less painful. And just, again, giving our customers a better way to manage pen test data. We also wanted to give the community a way to manage pen testing that didn't cost an arm and a leg. Our thought there is pretty simple. If our customers hire pen testers, those pen testers may not want to go out and buy a full-blown system. So we decided just to make it free. So if you're a pen tester, if you've got a team of pen testers, maybe a red team, you're welcome to use this for free. What SaltMiner Community is everything that comes with SaltMiner, but limited to pen test results. That's it. So everything that we do, it's available for free. So it's all the power of SaltMiner, all the dashboarding, multi-user mode. You can use dashboards and share them with your users. You can do everything that we can do in SaltMiner. Again, we're just limiting it to pen test data. Again, like I said, fully multi-user, fully document level security supported. We also built the system on Elk, so the Elastic platform, which is particularly nice. Elk is very, very fast. It's very open, which we wanted our data to be very open and very queryable. We also use Kibana as a lot of our front-end dashboarding. It's a slightly modified version, but if you've ever used Kibana, it's really easy to customize. So if you want to come up with custom dashboards, custom reports, it's all there for you. And we've put the data in there in a format that's really, really easy to use. And that's, again, we're using the basic license of Elk for that. So it's, again, that's free as well. So that is what SaltMiner Community is. If you'd like more information about SaltMiner Community, feel free to send us an email at info@saltworks.io. And we will be more than happy to get you signed up so that you can download a copy of it. Right now, we're sort of hand-holding folks as it's a new release. We're hand-holding folks through the install. We'll be happy to help you with that if you're interested. And then in the near term, we'll put a full download out there, but we want to make sure that as we roll it out to the community, that it works well, everybody's happy with it. We've also got a full support site. We do email support. If you're a community customer, meaning you haven't paid, we'll still support you. We just obviously give priority to our paid customers. But we're here to build a community and serve the community that honestly, we've been making a living off for 2 decades now. So we're really excited to support you. Again, if you have any questions, please feel free to email us at info@saltworks.io. Again, I'm Dennis Hurst. Thank you very much for taking your time to watch our video. Hope you have a great day.